Now we will discuss that what are the preconditions which are essential for an individual to enjoy liberty. Okay, so students, whenever you will get the question like what are the preconditions which are essential for an individual to enjoy liberty, your answer will be we are having a two particular preconditions. Okay, first we are having rule of law, second we are having independence of judiciary. Now, what is rule of law? Rule of law is essential for an individual to enjoy liberty. Rule of law means the equality of all persons before law. Law makes no distinctions between the rich and the poor, the high and the low. The rule of law is the most vital principle that guarantees full liberties of the individual and prevents the executive from becoming high-handed and unjust. Next, we are having independence of judiciary. So, students, there should be an independent and impartial judiciary. We can say that we must have a honest judiciary for safeguarding liberty, for the protection of rights and liberties of the individual, and for equal justice between men and individuals, and government competent and independent judiciary is a great necessity of the day. Now let's move to the next topic, that what are the safeguards of which are essential for maintaining liberty. Okay, so in this regard we are having a first one, that is separation of power. So students, there should be a absolute separation of powers, because without that there is every likelihood of its being misused. Power corrupts man and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So in the interest of liberty, it is essential to have separation of powers. Next, we are having rigid and written constitution. To safeguard the individual's liberty, it is essential that constitution should be both written as well as rigid. A written constitution shall avoid vagueness, whereas rigid constitution will ensure rights. Third, we are having independence of judiciary. So judiciary is the watchdog of the rights of citizen. It keeps the individual and various organs of the state within their respective jurisdictions. It can declare laws as unconstitutional and ultra vires if these rights go against the provisions of the Constitution. Next, we are having fundamental rights. Each state should guarantee its citizens certain fundamental rights. These are the minimum rights which each citizen is sure to enjoy in all circumstances, and which, if denied either by the state or any other competent authority, can be challenged in the courts of law. So next we are having rule of law. So there should be rule of law, which implies that all the citizens in a state, whether high or low, should be treated by the same set of rules. There should be no separate codes of rules for the rich and the poor. In addition to this, every citizen should be given an opportunity to approach the courts when he feels that he is being denied certain rights. Next, we are having no discretion. To safeguard the liberty, it is essential that executive government should not be vested with any discretion. And the next one, we are having absence of privileges. There should be a no privileges class in the society. Okay, so next and the last, we are having democracy. So democracy checks the authority from becoming autocrat, because persons in the authority are bound to face the electorates and intervals. We can add one more point here, like a vigilance. It has been said that eternal vigilance is the price of liberty. If the peoples are not vigilant, their liberty cannot be safeguarded. Let's move to the next topic, that what is the relationship between liberty and equality, and are they complementary to each other or not. Okay, this question can come to you in this way also. So whenever you will get this question, your answer will be like, an individual can freely develop his personality only when equal opportunity for development exists. Okay, a society where special privilege are provided to particular class has no freedom, because the privileged class will exploit the other individuals, and the exploited class will be deprived of its freedom. So if there is clash between the rich and the poor do not have the resources to go to the court, thus he is deprived of justice. Actually, social and political freedom is impossible without equality. Thus civil equality is possible only when everybody is treated equally before law. If there is a glaring economic disparity in society, then political freedom is lost. Okay, so according to Rousseau, equality does not exist without freedom. Lasky said, where there are rich and poor, educated and uneducated, we always find masters and servants. Students, still we have done that liberty and equality are not opposed to each other, but some thinkers still said that liberty and equalities are opposed to each other. So in this regard, we are also having some points. Like political thinkers differ among themselves on the exact relationship between liberty and equality. And some thinkers are of the opinion that the concept of equality is only an utopia and not a reality. They say that both liberty and equality are opposed to each other and they are not implementary, implementation terms. Both liberty and equality cannot go together. And there are also some thinkers, who say that liberty and equalities are closely related to each other and one cannot exist without the other. It is said that liberty is the absence of equality is meaningless. For example, three prominent scholars, Professor Lasky, Professor Tony Paul, and Professor McWhirr, are the thinkers who support this viewpoint. In fact, the liberty does not mean the same work and equal wages for all the people. In short, we can say that there is close relationship between liberty and equality. Enjoyment of one needs and presence of the other. So, civil liberty, for example, is secured only when all citizens are equal in the eyes of law. Political liberty demands equal political system. It has little significance unless there is economic liberty or equality. So student, this was all about today's lecture, today's chapter. Fine, you all are required to go through the whole chapter level resources and worksheet and which are given or attached in this video. Along with this video, you are supposed to do the NCERT questions also. Thank you so much. Take care.